My dear friends, today I'm going to do something a little bit unusual. I've been asked to review a guitar. It's not really a guitar, looks like a guitar, looks like a very nice guitar. It's called an AeroBand guitar, alright? And the idea is it's supposed to be nice and easy to play. Why is it easy to play? Well, it doesn't have any strings, see? No strings. It's got strings here, and it's got some preset patches that we'll look at in a minute. And you can MIDI it up and you can do all sorts of bits and pieces, and the neck comes off. Now there's lots of reviews out there already for this particular instrument, so I'm not going to bore you with the same stuff. I'm going to look at this purely as an aging guitar player and tell you what I think of it. I'm not getting paid for this by the company, alright? They sent me the guitar, they asked me to review it. I said I'd be honest, alright, because I don't want you going out buying something that might be a load of crap. So that's the thing. So this is what it's called, an AeroBand guitar. Now, as I've said to you before, I am a guitar player of some 60 years. I've been playing since I was a kid. So my fingers, everything is designed to play a guitar, all right? So I'm going to have a look at this, see what we think. The main point of it, as I said, it's got no strings. It's got little plastic, looks like nylon, pieces of nylon running down the thing. The frets are very, very, well, they're not really frets, but if they are frets, they're very, very low. It's MIDI, so you can MIDI it up. So if you're into keyboards, it's useful for that. You can plug it into an amp. You've got headphones you can plug into it. It's got a socket for a microphone if you want to look rather silly and have a mic sticking out of the guitar. Then, you know, each to their own. I wouldn't do it. I think it'd look really daft. But hey ho, you can do it if you want to. Pretty good for kids to be able to do that, to be honest. What else have we got? You can't bend the strings on it. You know, so you can't, if you're thinking of going and doing your Jimi Hendrix thing, forget that, ain't gonna happen. You can't mute strings on it, which is a big problem if you're an acoustic guitar player and you want to be strumming along. It's interesting for I've got it set as a piano patch. I always like the idea of being able to play piano, which of course I can't. So, you know, if I use this, I've got it set to a piano patch, which is quite amusing, isn't it? I quite enjoy it. I've got to be dead careful because the slightest movement, and it's weird. It's not like a guitar. That isn't me, that's this, okay? Because when it's very, the fingerboard is very, very sensitive because you've got no strings. When you lift a finger on a guitar, of course, the string will naturally mute. This thing doesn't, it just makes the noise of an open string. So if you want to get one of these, you've got to treat it in a different way. It has its uses, okay? So it's got no strings. It's got a number of preset sounds, tones, whatever you want to call it. Let's have a look at those. I've got it set to a piano at the moment. As I say, I've straight out the box. You know, I'm just looking at it purely and simply as a guitarist. I haven't even got it plugged into an amp. Okay, it's just the sound that's coming out of this built-in speaker. It also has a beatbox, which I'm not even going to bother pressing that button. Otherwise, I'll probably not know how to turn it off. So let's have a look at some of these sounds. So let's have a look. This changes the octave of the strings. It's like having a capo. Okay, so as So this is what have I got here? Let's have a look and see if we can. I'm just going to play with the octave and see if I can get a better sound. I don't know what sound that is. It sounds a bit guitar-y maybe. Don't like that. That sounds quite interesting. Bit too high though. Sounds like a banjo. Let's lower it down. It's as if it's got a capo. You don't have a capo on these. You can actually adjust it by pressing these buttons here. So we get the pitch we want. Too high. Sounds a bit banjo, but don't it? Still a bit high. Ooh! So you got to watch your fingers. That little bit of, again, if you just sort of spend a bit of time on it and, you know, readjust your playing to the instrument you've got in your hands, then, you know, you can have some fun with it, you know. Let's have a look what else we've got. I like the colour of this, so let's a little twiddle. I can get a higher sound. Sounds good. What does that remind you of? Picture yourself where's it go? Something like, that'd be great if you were doing it live, got no keyboard player, but you wanted to do the song. Now clearly I've taken this up an octave to get that little keyboardy sound that the Beatles used. Don't even know what instrument that was. So that's that one, and so on. We've got all the different presets here. Okay, so let's just talk about the thing. Is it worth the money? I don't know. It's it retails at about 300 and odd pounds, I think, dollars. They vary in price. The pros for me are it's good if you're a guitar picker. If you know, like classical players and you want to, you know, classical pieces that were written for piano, where they don't involve bends and all this sort of nonsense, then it's a much better thing to use for picking. For strumming, you've got all sorts of disadvantages. The muting of the strings is the main one for me, and I'm not sure whether or not you can actually use different tunings like dad, fad, and all that sort of stuff, or drop D tuning. I've not yet looked enough into this manual to see whether that's possible. I've not seen anything to say that it is, so that would be a problem for me personally, because a lot of classical pieces have drop D tuning. I like the piano sound. I think that's good. I could use that. The banjo sound, I could use that. It's a fun instrument. It's a conversation piece. If you had a party at your house, let's just see what else happens. I've just pressed a button. I don't know what it does. Oh, that slows it down. It's a good sound, that. It's a good sound. So it's got percussion, so you could play with the percussion. That's quite nice. I think that for me, it's a fun instrument. It's one of those instruments that if you've got a couple of quid to spare, and you've got it in your like as I have here with loads of different guitars, then people will say, "Ooh, what's that?" And then if you sort of said, "Well, I'll show you," and did this. Let's get a nice sound. can see the faces light up going, you can't you? Yeah, come on. I'll try and do the riff. The trouble with this is it's that sensitive. See what I mean? Doesn't work like a real guitar. So you're limited what you can do. But for other pieces it's great. You know, I could spend hours just having fun on it. Now, would I buy one? I don't know. If I had some spare money, I probably would, just for the hell of it, just for a laugh, because it does have its value. You know, think of it in terms of entertainment. If you wanted to entertain somebody with, you know, and something unique that you could have fun with. And as I say, to be fair, I've only just taken it out of the box. I'm using presets. I'm not using an amp. It could do a hell of a lot more than I've demonstrated. But then again, I'm just a guitar player. It's aimed at guitar players, presumably like me, that have got a few bob to spare, that we could buy something that's a bit of fun. So if you're a young person and you're trying to learn to play guitar, buy a guitar. All right, buy a guitar. It's nothing like a guitar. You can't learn to play on this. This is for a seasoned guitar player that's got some nous about how a guitar works, that may like his finger picking and wants to hear it sound like a piano rather than a guitar. All right, so that's what this instrument really is all about. Marks out of 10. Well, I'll tell you what, they've spent some time on it. You know, it's not quite there yet, but it's definitely well on the way. All right, it's not quite there yet, and I know that it's had some pretty scathing reviews, particularly from electric players, and I understand why, because you know, you look at it, you think you're going to be doing all this stuff, and you just forget it. It's not going to happen. It's more like a keyboard player. So on that note, I would give it, say, I don't know, 6, 7 out of 10. All right, but as a conversation piece and as a fun item, I'd give it 8. All right, as an instrument in its own right, you know, it's not quite there, but fun item, conversation piece. Will it put a smile on people's faces? Yes. Maybe that's worth a 10. I don't know, but there we are. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed that little review, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. You know, check out the other reviews as well. Right, speak to you soon. You take care. Bye bye.